Good morning and welcome to episode 37 of At the Sharp End, a weekly business and innovation show where we believe every business can be profitable. In today's episode, the innovation process, taking ideas to market, I've got Khemeia Consulting's head of digital marketing with me, Haroon Rashid. Good morning, Haroon.
Good morning, everybody. Glad to be here.
And thanks for being here. It's great to have you on the show again. And this is a excuse me, coughing and sniveling. I've had a cold all week, and I'm recovering from it. And we said, let's go ahead and do the show, but I still will probably clear my throat a few times. So, Haroon, here at Khemeia, we're big on innovating. We help people to bring new products and services to market, and to figure out right from the point of the idea and the idea extraction, how they get to market. And we've developed a process over a period of time that helps people to do that, which we'll share, right? So I've got an infographic here, maybe. Here we go. There we are. So we've got 4 distinct stages to it, and they interlink quite nicely, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's really cool because being Yorkshire's innovation agency, we tell people about innovation, or we have an innovation process, but there's a lot to it. And a lot of people say, oh, I didn't realize you did that. Oh, I didn't realize you needed that when taking your idea to market. So we've kind of just done this graphic, and I'm excited that we're doing this series now on our innovation process, which we've called the Khemeia Way, which you can see there. And yeah, like you say, it's a nice flow. It's all very logical, and there's some method to the madness, isn't there? So
there's a lot of method to the madness, actually. So the way we developed this is when I started Khemeia, I've got an electronics engineering background, and I've done a lot of commercial work internationally. And I started helping companies to grow and do a lot of business coaching and business consulting. And one of the things that came through really strongly, and that I got asked a lot, was about writing business models. Now, I've never been writing business plans, and I've never been a big fan of business plans because they're quite ambiguous. So around that time, the business model canvas had started coming forward as a way of working, and that's a crowdsourced tool. So we adopted that, and we did a load of consulting around it for some pretty big players, and so we've adopted that into our process. So now, as you know, Haroon, we work closely with an insights team who look at market position, and they look at what's existing already, and they look at whether you've got to be a market maker to open up your market. But actually, we use the business model canvas as part of that, and as an integrated process, to make sure that you test your market and that your hypotheses for how you're going to get to market is well tested. And so that brings all that front end part, that planning piece, into sharp focus. And you've seen us do that, haven't you, with a few clients now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was in a session with you probably about a year ago. I remember particularly we were with another engineer. I think they had an idea, but they didn't have. Well, there's a few things I think that that the business model canvas helps you do as well, but they didn't have a business vision, which you talk about a lot. They didn't have a business model. They didn't have a plan, really. And I think when people have an idea for a product, they focus too much on the product itself. They don't actually think about, well, how am I going to make this into a business? Is there a market for this? What about potential funding streams or something like that, which the insights team helps with? So, yeah.
And that gives us a nice segue into actually doing the technical development. And because we understand that part of the process, and we do electronics and software development for people, it means that we are able to provide companies and individuals with an objective view of whether their idea is able to get to market, whether it's fundable and how you might fund it, whether that's through grant funding or angel investors or other means, how you reduce the risk. So can you make the product a cost-effective rate? Can you manufacture it in volume? There's all sorts of hurdles to overcome that if you didn't do technical development, you probably wouldn't understand. But because we do that, we can roll some of that knowledge into that front end and help de-risk the whole planning process. And then, of course, we can get into the technical development. And once we're well into that, you can see actually there's more coaching from a business point of view. There's more insights work, which branches across the product and into the marketing area, doesn't it? So Haroon, you use insights quite a lot for looking at how the product or service is going to be marketed online.
Totally. And I think if people look at so when you've got that prototype box in the middle of the timeline, you might notice that the yellow insights bar and the technical bars come in again, and they kind of get a bit shorter. But that's just to basically say that there's some iterations that might need to be made. And Ian, you talk about that a lot, don't you? You don't just say you're going to have a concept or a prototype out there and that's it. You need to test the market a bit. So there's some ongoing work. And then that's kind of where I come in as well, to kind of say, okay, well, what's the market saying about it? And we're all kind of feeding back to each other in this kind of loop to kind of make sure that the iterations are correct and we're actually giving the market what they want. So, yeah.
And that's absolutely right. So everything is iterative. Whether it's developing your business, that's iterative. Whether it's doing your market research, that's iterative. Technical development, that's iterative. And if you want to build a good product, you're going to have to maintain it. You're going to have to keep it cost competitive. As its volumes go up, you might have to move its manufacturing to a different facility. So there's all sorts of technical challenges there. Mm-hmm. And then from a marketing perspective, do you want to talk to that, Haroon? You're going to carve out a niche, identify your audience, etc.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing that's really important for the audience to understand is, though, I mean, the way we work is that my department, well, the marketing and the coaching kind of feed off one another. So I'll take a lot of the information from the business model and then use that to carve out what the marketing plan is going to be, the content plan, the SEO plan, the social media strategy. It's all relevant. So we have what's called a 5-step marketing plan. We can put those in the show notes, I'm sure. We've done another show on that. We've got a template that's free for everyone to go and use. So a 5-step marketing plan is just the way to kind of kickstart your digital marketing. And within that, you've got your SEO, you've got stuff that's going to lead onto your content marketing plan. Because once you've got the product made and it's all boxed up and ready to go, how are you going to get it out there? How are you going to reach your customers? And with the internet revolution, social media and everything like that, it just makes it a hell of a lot easier to reach the right people and to target people with things like Facebook ads or Twitter ads or tailored content on YouTube and other great platforms. And you know what? The audience can also check out some future content where we're going to be doing some innovation experiments, where we're going to be testing out platforms like Meerkat, Periscope, how to launch products with those things.
So that's a great segue, actually, Haroon, into advertising your show, Haroon's Hangout, which is at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday morning with Haroon. If you want more great marketing tips and you want much more detail, pardon me, then please tune into that show. You can also watch them on YouTube. You can catch them on Google+, and of course, you can go and go through the whole series on our website. So that's Haroon's Hangout on a Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. GMT. Sorry for stuttering and coughing and
it's okay. It's
having a terrible morning.
I like
it. Excuse me. So great segue into what you do and how you iterate. You're right, though. There's lots and lots of overlap because we talk about the whole business plan part and how that impacts on what the marketing is doing and how it impacts on, and so every strategy and plan that we come up with is bespoke for that particular client, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
And it's not just a plan that's handed over to the client. Actually, we do it in partnership with the client. So we train the client. The client is helped then and assisted in how to ensure that their marketing is having the best effect. I'm really looking for those communities and areas where they can build a following for their product.
That's right. And then from there, you've also, with the test, measure, adapt strategy that we have, once your product is launched, there's ongoing coaching, ongoing marketing training, ongoing insights. You may even have to do a version 2 or a version 3 and, do some more iterations on your product. I mean, look at the iPhone. I mean, they're on iPhone 6 now. So it's an ongoing thing. It's not just you've done it once and that's it. You know, you're going to have to, if you want to be successful in the marketplace, I think the race belongs to the innovators and people who keep going and keep iterating.
So that's a summary of our innovation process, the Khemeia way, and that brings us to the end of episode 37. We'll be back next week with episode 38, and on the show I'll have our head of market insights, John Stevenson, and we'll be talking about the innovation process, finding a business coach, which is all about that first step and how you kick it off, how you kick the process off. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for tuning in. And thanks, Haroon, for coming on the show. Hope to see you again on another show shortly.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.